everybody, welcome back to Tandem Fandom. I'm Courtney.
I'm Mick.
And today we're discussing some breaking video game news.
That's right, it rolled right in from NetherRealm Studios, the announcement of Injustice 2, which as not only big NetherRealm fans, Mortal Kombat fans, we're also pretty big DC fans, so this was a nice little surprise, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm super excited, especially with how Mortal Kombat X has been.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, this is going to be tops.
Yeah, I mean, the first Injustice was really cool story, and not to mention, who doesn't want to play as, like, Batman and just punch
Literally kick
Superman?
somebody's ass.
Yeah, beat somebody's ass, or
Especially
Superman. Yeah, or Aquaman, or Flash, or Wonder Woman, whichever. So, that being said, you know, the roster is pretty slim so far, so we decided to take it upon ourselves to put together a top 10 list of characters that we would like to see in Injustice 2.
And we tried to not do any repeats from the original game, because we assume they're going to kind of keep the main guys from that roster, like Batman, Superman, Flash, Supergirl is a new addition.
Exactly, as well as Atrocitus was. There's also a tease of Captain Cold and Dr. Fate. So
we're trying to keep out of the realm of what's most likely going to be in the game, and we're giving a list of who we would like to see, who is not in the original game.
Exactly. So with that being said, we'll start it at number 10, Jonah Hex. You know, when we were putting together the list, we wanted to really focus on some people that would do one of a few different roles that they could fill. They have announced that the game will follow a loot system, so you can customize and upgrade a character's look or armor.
Yeah.
So some of the characters will fit kind of in that. Other characters will fit in what they can do from a gameplay perspective, and we thought it would be really cool. Enter Jonah Hex. I think, based on Aaron Black in Mortal Kombat X,
they could do a lot of good with Jonah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you could do some really cool, you know, stuff with, like, the gun. You could incorporate a rifle. You could incorporate, like, a knife, a rope. I mean, a lot of the things that they did with Aaron Black in X, I think you could do a lot of really similar things with Jonah Hex. And he's all, like, from a visual standpoint, he looks really cool.
Awesome.
You know, he looks cool, and he's got that, you know, the gruff voice, and just, I'd like to see what kind of, like, his
real Clint Eastwood kind of attitude.
Yeah, so, you know,
demons and stuff.
would like to see Jonah Hex. If they adopt a variation, you know, system like Mortal Kombat X, you could see, you know, kind of like a gunslinger, maybe like a marksman where you could use a rifle, like I said, and
or even just a brawler.
Yeah, or like a hunter maybe utilizes a big knife, or like ties people up with a rope and uses the knife. You know, so a lot of different things that you could do with him. Again, from a visual perspective, he looks really cool, and I think with the darker tone that Injustice seems to have, I think he fits in perfectly.
Moving on to our next pick, number 9 is Livewire.
Hey, babies. I really like this one. I mean,
again, yeah, she'll just be visually stunning anyway, because her character design is very unique with the short hair and her, like, bodysuit and her skin.
Definitely, and again, from a gameplay perspective, with the sort of cool things that you could see Raiden do in X, I think almost boom, just give it to Livewire. Let her take somebody way up in the sky and, like, zap them with a big bolt of lightning. Would be super, super cool. I'd like to see an updated look for her with Injustice, which is something they could definitely do. Well, and with the upgrade system, maybe you could add her armor could be really like lightning or something, or you know, just something you could do that would be really
conductive.
Cool. Yeah, and not to mention, it's a great way to freshen up the character and see a new and interesting take on her, because I don't believe she's really changed in appearance for like 20 years or something.
Yeah.
Since she, you know, showed up in the Superman animated show, I don't believe she's really gone.
But it was such a good design.
Oh, it was. I mean, it's a great design. I love it, but definitely love to see her.
Yes.
So at number 8, we have the Doctor of Fear, Scarecrow.
Ooh,
he is somebody that we've seen his visual design change over the years. You know,
from just man with the burlap and maybe a noose.
Yeah.
To like this gas mask, stitches.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the visual design they went with him in the Arkham series.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what could NetherRealm do if you're given the Scarecrow? That's where it really comes down, because they really excel at, you know, darker, creepier characters. So I'd really be excited to see what they could do. His super attack, I think, would be something that would be really impressive, because you could gas somebody, and then you've got like free range on what you want to do.
Right, like, is it going to be different for each character? Or are we going to see that character's nightmare? Or is it just going to be like Nash in Street Fighter V, where it's just fade to black and then he attacks, you know?
I think it would be really cool if they made it different for every single character.
Yeah.
You see Batman's fears, you see Superman's fears, you see, you know, Supergirl, all of these different characters. I think it would be a really, really cool way to just add some flavor to the character of Scarecrow, because from a power perspective, he's a regular dude, but with his fear toxin, it kind of evens the odds a little bit for him. Especially because...
his glove with the syringes.
Oh, yeah. Well, and if you think about it, they could really utilize a lot of the things that they did with Fong in Street Fighter V, where he could drop like a bomb, and it would gas, and they would stun, and he could hit. You know, so you could do a lot of really cool things with him from a variation standpoint, or just a move set. Not necessarily like the armor upgrades. I think it'd be kind of odd for him to be just like in a suit of armor. But again, I would be intrigued to see what NetherRealm could do with the character.
Yes. Moving on to number 7, going a little Red Lantern love here. Blaze would be super awesome.
Definitely. I think she falls right into the mix with the upgrading as far as the armor and like visual design is concerned, and the gameplay perspective.
Because, well, one, you could totally upgrade her wings to, like, you know, like Archangel or something.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
And she, you know, she is physically engaging, and with Atrocitus being in the game, it's kind of like, why not?
Yeah, why not add another one? I mean, sure, we'd love to add Dexstar into the mix, but I mean, he's a little cat. Like, you know,
he's a little cat.
He's hanging out. But, you know, Blaze, I think, would be cool because she's got, what, that this napalm vomit, I guess?
Yes, all Red Lanterns do have napalm vomit. Kind of an acid spit, like Reptile. They could definitely work that in, especially with Blaze. And it would give cool character design, and that could also be more of an upgrade thing, whereas maybe she doesn't start out with it, but maybe you can get it.
Yeah, and again, I think if you look at like Devora, she's a character from Mortal Kombat X that had wings, and they really incorporated those in a cool way. Like the alien's tail, I could see her wings being used in a similar capacity to that.
Because they are bones.
Yeah, so I'd be really intrigued to see what NetherRealm could do with a character design like Blaze, who already looks fantastic.
Yeah, just strikingly different.
And, you know, it's... with it being darker and Atrocitus being introduced, I think introducing another Red Lantern fits really strongly into the story, because, you know, there is a lot of anger and pain and rage that the first story was based off of, with, you know, Superman basically snapping, you know, so we could also see that a skin variant for all the characters, like they did do, you know, the Blackest Night, where they were all the you know, zombie characters. So
awesome.
Maybe we get to see a Red Lantern Batman, a Red Lantern Superman. We have seen in the comics Red Lantern Supergirl, so that would be something that would be really, really cool if they incorporated that. Yeah. At number 6, we introduce a Daredevil, and probably not the one you're thinking of. Boston Brand, the Dead Man. Now, here's a guy that when we were putting the list together, I really wanted to include him because I really like the character of Dead Man, but if I'm being honest, I still don't quite know how he fits from a gameplay and a visual design perspective.
Well, he's, like you said, he's a high flyer. He's a daredevil. He was a flying Grayson. He was a circus performer, a trapeze.
Yeah, trapeze artist.
Trapezius. A trapeze artist.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of flips and tricks and swinging and...
For a special, his, like, super move or ultra spend your full meter, he could possess whoever he's fighting and do like a stop hitting yourself kind of thing, like he just that could be
totally good.
Okay, so that could be really cool. See, there it is. That's why we do this, because again, I wanted to see him because I love the character. He's really cool looking, and again, NetherRealm does awesome character designs.
Yeah.
I like that. And I guess maybe he could do some like possessed Kenshi type stuff, I suppose, or maybe like goes invisible like Reptile does or something. That's another thing that could possibly. Yeah. So there you have it.
And kind of staying in the same vein as Deadman, what with Justice League Dark, we're gonna go with Swamp Thing at number 5.
The power of the green.
Which, again, visually striking, he's a big freaking swamp monster. He is made of earth.
Yeah.
He can control the green, he could have, like, tendrils for attacks.
He is kind of the exact opposite of how I felt when we were putting the list together compared to Deadman, because when it came to Swamp Thing, I instantly had like 10 ideas. I was like, oh man, he could take tubers off of his body and throw them as like a ranged weapon. He could use tendrils, like you said. He could grow like giant wings. He could wrap somebody up in vines.
Yeah, he could use the earth below.
Yeah, the character himself just lends so much to creativity from a moves perspective and a move list, because really your imagination is the limit. Like whatever you want to have him do, he can do, and that's really, really cool. And again, with the loot system and the upgrading, you could add these large like tree bark or shoulders or wings or horns.
Yeah, like the helmet that he had.
Yeah.
Like we've seen him with armor, so.
So, I mean, there's an awful lot of really cool things that you could do with Swamp Thing. And again, he's a little bit of a darker, edgier character, which fits along perfectly with the story they've been telling with Injustice. Along the same lines of Swamp Thing, at number 4 we have Clayface.
Ooh, which gives you carte blanche.
Yeah, like Swamp Thing, only he can literally morph his body into anything. You want to have his hand be a giant hammer? Boom. You want to have it be a giant mace? Boom. Swords? Whatever. You want to just have like his big ultra attack, he just puts his hands out and smothers somebody with clay. You can do that.
Well, he can also turn into people too.
That's what I was going to say. A variation could be like a mimic. A lot like they had in the old Tekken games, where you could be the training dummy and it was a random of pretty much every character in the game.
Yeah.
Only you could specifically have it be your opponent. Like, he could take on the moveset of a Batman. He could take on the moveset of Superman.
There was somebody who could do that in, like, a Mortal Kombat game where you could become your opponent. But I cannot. Somebody help me in the comments.
Yeah, somebody reach out in the comments and give us
There is a game out there where you can become the mirror match during the match. Help me out with that.
Yeah, help us out with that. But that's something you could do with a variation. You could have Clayface... One, he could be whoever he's going against. Two, you could have him be some kind of, like I said, maybe his arms are transforming into different weapons, so that's more of a brawler type. And then for a third, you could have him, flinging pieces of clay for more of like a zone or ranged type, where maybe he throws out a clay, they get stuck in place, and then you can dash in and do a combo off of that. Visually, the upgrading, it's easy, because you could just have it be whatever you want it to be. And we've seen a lot in the trailer where it's just kind of basic armor, which is cool and it looks great. But I feel like Clayface and Swamp Thing, you can get really creative with how you want to upgrade those things.
Absolutely. And they won't turn into a Kotobukiya statue like the rest of them have in the trailer.
They do look like a Kotobukiya statue. It's great, though. They look fantastic, but they really do look like Kotobukiyas.
Like the Kai Play Arts.
Yeah. I wonder if that had a little bit of... If Square Enix was like, hey, guys, check this out.
So, moving on to number 3, and this is the one that we're very excited for, and it's kind of like, why wouldn't you use this one? Of course, we are talking about the Hellblazer, John Constantine.
Hands down, he's one of our favorite characters across any entertainment medium, comics, video games, movies, whatever. John is such a great character. We love the character so much. Again, the armor doesn't necessarily fit John so much, but from a variation or moveset perspective, you could do some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
You could do like a demonologist, where very similar to like Scorpion, I think, has something almost exactly like that.
Summon the demons from above or summon the demons from the ground to hold.
Yeah, you could do a couple others like Quan Chi, where maybe he's like opening up portals, or you know, reaching, you know, using magic. Maybe like he possesses himself, like they did in the television show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of really cool things, and not to mention, a lot like Livewire, John has such a great personality, and interactions with other characters is what would be so great, because you know he's going to talk shit.
Yeah.
You know he's going to look at somebody and he's going to say something, and it's going to be really funny and really snarky.
Amazingly witty and snarky. And Zatanna was in the original cast.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he fits right in.
I think so, and especially if Zatanna makes her return, you can get some really great back and forth between the two of them.
Yep.
Really great interactions with Swamp Thing, as he's very closely tied to that character. And maybe he's like Jax in Mortal Kombat X, where he is just wasting all of the cigars in the known world. Except in John's case, it's cigarettes, but you know, he comes out and he's smoking, and he's... Or, even better, maybe he's smoking during the entire match. He's smoking a cigarette in his match, or he sets it down and lights it. That could be something in a super move. He pulls out his wallet, lights a cigarette, blows, and then like something. You know, again,
some sort of fire.
You could do so many cool, unique things with John.
And with the upgrades, you know, he's got so many sigils and tattoos. You could buy more.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that, because I'm just thinking like, is he going to have like an armored coat? Like, is it going to get spikes off the coat? You know, like, I mean, maybe, but you're right, I guess.
Yeah, he could get more sigils and tattoos and talismans and stuff that give him different powers and abilities.
Yeah, that would be really great. So, moving along, at number 2, we have a pretty big villain in the DC universe. I'm talking about Necron, the Black Lantern.
Yes.
This is a character that I get excited thinking about it, because already Necron looks amazing. He's got the giant scythe.
He's the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, and
basically.
I mean, you could...
super, like, skull dead.
I'm sitting here like, because I really am. I'm just seeing it in my head. I'm seeing the character's design, and he does look so fantastic, and I'm just thinking, like, you could just add this and add that and accentuate this.
He's like Death if Guillermo del Toro made Death.
Yeah. I see him playing a lot like Shinnok. Like, that's kind of how I would see him playing. Like, you know, or...
kind of necromancy, because he rose the Black Lanterns.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. And it just... Maybe at the end he, like, takes their soul, pulls out, like, this big Black Lantern or scythe, and just... You know, there's so many...
Well, the scythe is the lantern.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
I gotta brush up on my Necron.
He's right there.
Hey, so, you know, Necron is somebody that, yes, he might be a little overpowered in terms of how he matches up with a lot of the characters, because I believe it took, every Lantern Corps to beat him?
Yeah, they ended up waking up the White Lantern power.
Yeah, so in that regards, yes, he is a little bit of overpowered for a fighting game.
But he doesn't have to be in his character design. You
know,
like, in the universe, obviously he is, but, yeah.
You know, and again, you know, this is something that, like, if you have Necron going against, say, like, Batman, well, gee, I wonder who's gonna win. But, again, you know...
I mean, we have Superman in the game.
Exactly. So why not? You know, and I feel like it's something that would be really fun and really cool, and maybe he's just like a boss character that you could put in there, because... That's something that NetherRealm has consistently done over the years, is making you have the ability to play this really big, badass boss.
Yeah.
Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, Goro. So, why not? There you go.
There you go, why not?
So we're getting to number 1 here. Pretty excited.
Speaking of big, powerful, can do anything with... Of course, we are talking about Dr. Manhattan.
That's right. We reached far into the DC realm, because with DC Rebirth, it is shown the Watchmen are now a part of the DC world, you know, DC universe. They're in it, baby.
And who better from that team, would you pull for this kind of game than Dr. Manhattan, who is one, again, well, we keep going back to the visual design, but very unique visual design. Would he be naked?
I would think possibly looks like Urian from Street Fighter. He's got like the span, like just the little Speedo or whatever, because I don't know that NetherRealm's shooting for that adult only, because you've got Big just swapping around. Like, but although maybe he uses that as a part of his moveset. Maybe he just...
Maybe you can upgrade too.
That'd be a little much.
Bring it back.
But no, Dr. Manhattan, I think visually he already looks so cool with the blue, and they did such a really great job with his design in the Watchmen movie. I really enjoyed the way he looked in that. Power perspective, he is OP. Like,
yeah.
I mean, because he could pretty much stop the whole fight just by, like, everybody explodes. Well, that's over.
Done going to Mars.
Yeah.
But it would still look awesome, and he can replicate himself.
Definitely.
So that's a cool ability.
That's what I would like to see from, like, his super attack. Like, maybe he stands in front of you, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's surrounds you with, like, 10 of himself, and just
There's like Morgan from Darkstalkers, where he just replicates, and that replicant mirrors the move, so you're just kind of sandwiching.
Yeah. So, again, yes, from a comic perspective, absolutely Dr. Manhattan destroys everybody with just a thought, but we think he could be a really cool addition. You know, obviously, there were some other characters that we could have added to the list, but we felt that these 10 were the ones that you had the most freedom with from just a looks perspective, a moveset perspective, or we just really like the character, and hey, it's our list, so we added them. You know, but let us know what you guys think in the comments. You know, who would you add? Who would you like to see in the game that we haven't already seen? Because, yes, we'd like to see somebody like Hush or Cheetah or something along those lines, but a lot of them really could just be skins for the game, you know?
Yeah, like Hush could be a Batman variant.
Yeah.
Or Cheetah could even be a Wonder Woman variant.
Yeah, or like Guy Gardner, Red Lantern could be a Hal Jordan, Green Lantern variant. Or again, like we said, you could put lanterns across all of the characters where they just have that look. So, but let us know what you guys think.
Who would you add? Who would you take out?
Yeah, I mean, do you think the list is good? Do you think it needs a little bit more polishing? Well, thanks guys for listening. As always, like, subscribe, share the video.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Check out our podcast on Podomatic. And as always, I'm Mick.
I'm Courtney.
If you're going to be a fan,
bring a friend.